successfully applying for a full-time position. And she one day turned to me as I was working on scheduling and said, I just had no idea that you had to invest so much time in it. I said, yeah. The scheduling is funny because I've got the Title V says I must have a librarian in the building when it's open. I've got 2 buildings that I have to do that for. Okay. I've got the adjunct contract rules that state when I offer adjunct shifts, there's this actual priority that I have to go through that my adjuncts all slot into. And so I've got to take that into consideration. And then things pop up out of the blue. So, oh, this conference or this workshop, I'd like to go. And then you're moving pieces around. And other things happen. Last fall, I was out for a few weeks. I had personal time, I had a conference, and I do a lot of work in ALA where I was called in Chicago to go to meetings. And so there's over a 2-week stretch where I was gone. I was in the library one day, I think. On one of those days, one of my full-time faculty was hospitalized, and it ended up being an extended leave. But there's one person who's scheduled for a lot of coverage, and the person in the library, suddenly I need to fill that in. One of the days that person was out was one of the Jewish holidays. 4 out of my 7 adjuncts are Jewish.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
suddenly in a position where I'm out of the country. I've got 1 faculty member who can't work. I've got 4 other people who can't work, who can't fill. And I've got 2 full-timers and 3 part-timers who are having to fill X number of hours between 2 campuses. And the other full-timers have committee responsibilities and other things as well. And so there's a lot of moving pieces there. It can be kind of fun, like a jigsaw puzzle, but I spend a lot of time, and I actually start, this is crazy, but I have to start fleshing out a calendar. So our program review, the planning document with all the budget, that was due in December, and included in that are adjunct salary lines that I have to indicate whether I need more adjuncts. So basically I needed to know for 2017, 2018, the next academic year, I basically had to figure out who's going to work when, just roughly. So I could then go into my program review and say, here's how much money I actually need for adjuncts, or if I could shift things around. So that's like 9 months beforehand, 8 months beforehand that I'm doing that. And then next month, April, is when I actually have to indicate to all the adjuncts all the shifts that are available for fall semester 2017 and spring semester 2018. So in April, I'm going to have to let them know shifts that are going to be available 14 months later.
Oh my goodness.
And it takes a lot of planning for that. And then just
dedicated.
People don't really realize that, but frequently when I'm tugging out my hair in my office, it's because of, of scheduling concerns, and a lot of time spent on that.
From the research that I've done so far, I've never once read scheduling with it, and it makes so much sense right now.
And in a way, it doesn't seem like the most important thing. It's like, just put people in place, but it's because of the dictates of Title V and the union contract. I've talked to colleagues at other colleges, and I've talked to them about how they schedule their adjuncts. They say, 2 weeks out, I tell them, I have these shifts available. And I'm just looking at them like, what? I have to do a year out. Are you kidding me? Yeah, it's because of the particular circumstances there.
Okay.
Yeah.
My last and final question. What career advice could you offer?
Oh boy. So I'm going to go with 2 different things. First of all, to graduates, as much as possible, be willing to move. I know that not everyone can move. People have family, all kinds of things. But if you do not have obligations that tie you to a particular place, be willing to move, because there are jobs out there. There really are. I came from British Columbia to go to school in Montreal, to take my first job in Chicago, and now I'm here. So be willing to go places. And the second thing just completely went out of my mind when I said that. Oh, sorry, going back. And actually it's interesting, I was having a conversation with one of my adjuncts this morning who's looking at potentially applying for a full-time job at another college. and had some concerns because it wasn't in an area that she knows very well. But I said, you know what, first of all, you meet the minimum qualifications, so go for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you meet the minimum quals, try for it, because you can always get through to the point of having an offer and decline the offer.
Mm-hmm.
You're able to do that. But I said, what's really interesting about the job is, yeah, it isn't your typical area. So if you want to then move on into other jobs after that, and especially if you want to move up, then you can say, but look at this base of knowledge and experience I have.
Mm-hmm.
I think one reason why I was an appealing candidate for this head librarian position was I was able to come in and say, I'm not just someone who worked in a reference job and then became head of reference, or I worked in cataloging and became head of cataloging, and now I was doing this. I said, I reference, circulation, instruction, digital programs, metadata. I have all these pieces here.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can, build yourself a rich resume and take on opportunities. You know, if there are colleges that will look for adjuncts to teach LM Tech courses, or if your program at USC is looking for graduates to adjunct and teach a course in some specialty area, do it, because then you've got teaching in a classroom experience beyond just those one-shot library instruction sessions. Take on those opportunities, very much so. I think it's important.
Okay, thank you.
That's an hour and 6 minutes. Wow.